Meet the sheriffs.
Hello, enforcement agents!
Here with a High Court order today.
They work for the High Court. And if it says you're owed money, it's their job to get it.
Hey, all the keys.
I'm going to be calling a locksmith.
They can demand payment
What can you pay us now?
We're going to get the cash, are you?
Are you paying the bill?
or remove assets.
You've got 30 minutes to make the payment.
And we'll start removing stuff from the building.
7 days, and then they'll be sold at public auction.
Obstructing their work is a criminal offence.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Don't lie to me.
That's number one on.
Every year, sheriffs in England and Wales recover unpaid debts totalling more than £95 million. Coming up, the sheriffs deal with an uncooperative debtor.
You smashed up the van.
I should be allowed to run bailiff. I am not bowing down to corruption.
The pub landlord owes a brewery for the stock he's received.
You purchased product on account and you didn't pay for it.
But can Rob and Gerald prove that the man they meet is the debtor?
That's Colin.
Has he got a tattoo on his right arm? Yes, that's him.
And emotions run high when the sheriffs visit an Italian mechanic.
I'm working in this garage for 18 hours in the day. And today I need to pay him for my money.
Enforcement agent Tommy Coyle's heading to the Welsh borders with a High Court writ. Today, he's accompanied by not one, but two other agents, because the debtor is known to be volatile.
We're on our way today to see an individual, Geraint Pearce. We're going to Lee Farm. We're after a balance of roughly about £8,000 today.
The address is a sheep farm where enforcement agents have previously visited looking to recover money owed by Mr. Pearce's father. And they've returned with some colourful stories.
I've heard rumours of agents being locked inside rooms, keys being thrown into fields. We know a van's been smashed up at the property, hence why we're here today. There's a pig takes a liking to agents when they turn up, and also there's some very angry cockerels which can attack you. So in all, it should be quite an interesting job.
On one of the last visits, Mr. Pearce repeatedly rammed the sheriff's van with a car, an offence for which he was jailed. Today, the sheriffs are returning to recover the costs of the damage. Tommy is hoping his team will be able to engage with Mr. Pearce more peacefully.
Oh, there you go. This is him.
A van is indeed blocking the drive.
He's parked a vehicle here. That's to stop us coming onto the property, quite obvious. And you've got the two gates. He's got one down there and he's got one here secured. So from what I've heard in the past, it looks like he's prepared. Oh. Yeah, it's chained and padlocked up, so it's very secure.
On this occasion, that'll be enough to stop the sheriffs in their tracks.
We don't have the authority here to force entry through this gate, and obviously force our way down there.
If it was a business, and obviously we would be able to gain entrance legally, but
yeah, we'd be straight in.
because it's not, it's a personal writ against a individual, we can't gain entrance.
Getting anywhere today will now depend on Mr. Pearce's cooperation.
I want to give him a call. Yeah, hello, is that Mr. Pearce? You're all right, sir. It's an enforcement agent here. I'm at the top of your property at the moment. Are you about? Do you want to come up and have a chat? All right, sir. I'll wait for you up here. Bye-bye. He's coming up in a minute. So, we'll see. He might invite us on the property. You never know.
Oh, here he comes.
You're all right? How are you? Mr. Pearce?
Good morning, Geraint. Good morning.
There's my identification.
Ah, mine now, okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Mr. Pearce, what's the situation? I'm getting this paid. Obviously, I know you've been in contact.
Well, all I can tell you, sir, is that I'm willing to make you a payment
Right,
today.
there we are.
I'm willing to pay you £100 a month until the matter is sorted out.
To everyone's surprise, Mr. Pearce has made an immediate offer. But it's not nearly enough.
We've been instructed by the office to come and collect the full balance at this stage. That's the problem. We've not been told to come here and set around £100.
This here, the insurance should have paid for this.
You smashed up the van.
I should be allowed to ram bailiffs.
You should.
On my own
Do you
property,
think
yeah.
so?
On my own property, yeah. I did 6 months in prison for bailiff ramming. I did my time.
But then they haven't paid it for you. If we don't get a resolve, it's going to escalate to stage 2 enforcement, which would be £8,738.
Yeah.
And we still can't get resolved, and you're not going to allow us access onto the property, we'll apply for leave of court and we'll force entry onto here and remove any assets to recover the full cost.
I can't give you £8,000. I am a poor sheep farmer. The whole place is in probate, so my father man's passed away. Nothing but here belongs to me, right? So you're going to have no job anyway.
Can you show us evidence of that today?
I can.
If you want to allow us on...
You want to break in, you break in, sir.
Listen.
And I'll be over here.
No, we're not.
We're not going to break in, you know we're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that.
What are you going to climb in or what?
We need to do a proper assessment situation. We can't do that from behind a gate. We need to assess that you haven't got any assets in your name here. If we don't get it resolved today,
You're going to come back, yes.
Enforce entry. That's what's going to end up happening.
Yeah, I know that.
And we
most
don't want to do that.
You'll be in the same position where I don't own anything.
Don't you want to just sort this out now?
No, I'd rather spend the day waiting for bailiffs to turn up every day thinking, oh, there might be a bailiff today, I'll keep the gates locked. I'd rather live in that world, right?
Rather than solve it.
Rather than resolve it today, I'd rather live in that world.
Negotiations with Mr. Pierce are not going well. If he really can't pay all his debt in one go, then the sheriffs can agree to a payment plan, but they're duty-bound to check he doesn't have any valuable assets first. Tommy tries to make the debtor realise he's got nothing to gain by denying access to his property.
What you're doing now, you're forcing our hand. We're going to have to get leave from court, come back, force entry, and we are. And if we do that, we will remove it all. That's the stage it's going to get to.
Well,
or we can deal with it amicably today and come on.
Invite us in then.
No,
Let's go and
once
solve
I
it.
invite you in, then you can come back and see whenever you please then.
We can come back and
no.
gain entry anyway. We'd rather just do it. We
do it
both
now.
want to do
Just
this
do it now.
amicably.
Well, I know that you're obviously not horrible, nasty people. Well, I don't know. You see, this is why I don't know whether I should...
At last, Mr. Pierce seems to be lowering his guard.
You can open the gate and you can lock it behind us.
Just don't ram us with any vans.
No.
No, my ramming days are over. Prison had its desired effect.
Good.
I'm very mindful of my actions nowadays.
Let's get this sorted out so we don't have to have a repeat of anything like that in the future.
Are you going to accept the £100 payment?
I can't say that for sure, but I'm sure we can facilitate some arrangement.
And we will find out the situation with you.
And we're
sit
going to come
down.
to a arrangement.
Please don't disappoint me, lad.
We won't.
Finally, the sheriffs are let in.
Thank you. Ooh.
Later, will Mr. Pierce's assets clear his debt?
The bus looks like it's had better days, isn't it? Tar truck. Nothing value in that, is there? Look at it.
It's not unusual for the sheriffs to have to play detective in pursuit of a debt. Rifling through filing cabinets or looking through receipts and invoices are all par for the course. And now, in the internet age, the clues to crack a case can even be found on social media. Today, Rob Foster and Gerald Anderson are in South Wales, looking for the landlord of a pub.
This afternoon we're heading down to the Aberkenfig area of Bridgend, looking for a Colin Andrew Salter. Owes quite a substantial amount, almost £12,000. The address we're going to is the Swan Inn.
The client has mentioned that the pub supposedly is doing well. It's ram-packed, supposedly fully booked on Sundays for weeks and weeks in advance. Beer sales are good, so as far as the claimant is concerned, there's a vast amount of money going through the till.
The money is owed to local businessman Clayton Jones, who recently fell into the drinks industry.
I got into running a brewery by mistake. My partner wanted to take over a brewery. I wasn't enthusiastic. However, I was persuaded, as all lovely women do. to take this business on.
The business they had their eye on had gone bankrupt, and so the couple bought it out of administration.
We picked it up. We drove the business forward. We kept 7 jobs. We kept the unit. We kept the business alive.
Clayton knew that at the point it went under, the brewery was owed money by a number of its customers. But when he looked into the accounts in more detail, he was shocked.
I was assuming it was a small amount of debt. However, when we checked the Sage accounts, it was over £250,000. For a small business doing just a £5 million turnover, it was a significant amount of money. There were 97 pubs and clubs. All those people who had not paid were basically killing the business.
Clayton began contacting these customers and asking them to settle their accounts. Among them was Colin Salter, who ran the Swan Inn in Bridgend.
Colin's debt was just under 17,000. He purchased product on account and he didn't pay for it. I spoke to Colin only over the phone. I've never met him personally. He agreed he owed the debt. He said that he would agree a payment plan. I outlined that payment plan to him in writing.
But the money didn't arrive. Clayton continued to chase Colin and was given promise after promise.
We've had 5 telephone conversations on the mobile where he said he would pay this, but he paid nothing.
Clayton suspected Colin may be struggling with money and decided to make him an offer.
My offer to Colin was exceptionally generous. You pay, I think it was 9,000 some odd pound rather than 17,000, and I'll walk away. He was in a difficult situation, but we wanted to help him. And he said, well, with my grandkids today, I'll ring you tomorrow. Well, tomorrow never came. What do you do? I spoke to him, and he seemed a nice person, to be honest, on the phone. But everything you ask him to do, he don't do.
Left with no other alternative, Clayton submitted a money claim online, and when Colin didn't offer a defence, won a CCJ against him. And when that wasn't paid either, Clayton asked the sheriffs to finally get his money.
And we give it to the sheriffs, and we say, look, you've got to get this sorted out for us.
Rob and Gerald are nearing the Swan Inn. They're hoping that if Clayton's right and the pub's doing well, there'll be hefty stocks of alcohol.
Alcohol's always a great one to seize. We'll get very close to what it actually retails for at trade prices. However, again, if it's a dinky little pub and they've got 250 quid's worth of alcohol and tables and chairs are rented from the landlord, 12 grand's a lot of money to try and collect.
The good thing is, I suppose, it's not a company, it's in his name as an individual, so there's a chance that there might be a car sitting there as well. There it is there, Swan Inn.
Oh yeah.
As they pull up at the pub, there is indeed a car outside, though it's certainly not worth £12,000. But that soon turns out to be the least of their problems.
Someone inside there. Cool. Mr. Salter, is it?
No,
Mr. Salter back, is he?
no. He left you in October.
Did he?
Oh, he did he? Are you sort of landlord now, are you? Are you trading here?
Yes.
Ah, right, okay. Do you have, number one, any ID, and number two, anything like your trading invoices, or your utility bills, or your business rates, something like that?
It seems Mr. Salter's long gone, and any chance of recovering Clayton's money today looks slim. But to be on the safe side, the sheriffs will need to see some proof before they can leave.
Quite a big place, isn't it? Party pub.
Yeah.
When did you take over, sir?
October.
And your name being?
Debbie J.
You got any invoices with your name on it?
The man then produces a council tax bill in the name of Mr. J.
Is this for the upstairs or is this?
And that's the upstairs one.
While a Mr. J may well be living upstairs, that's not what Rob needs to establish.
Have you got anything for downstairs for the pub itself?
As in,
So normally there's be a business rates one, or you're an insurance certificate, or any driving license or something like that with your name on it.
At least one of these documents should be easy to find, and the man's inability to provide one is unusual.
The invoices are all just made out to Swan Inn.
sorry.
Okay. Have you got anything on you, like a bank card or driver license and that, just to show who you are?
Rob and Gerald are starting to get suspicious and begin investigating online.
It's not that I don't trust you or whatever. It's I've got to cross all the T's, I'm afraid, and tick all the I's.
While Gerald tries to identify the company which leases out the pub, Rob has turned to social media to see if he can find a picture of Mr. Salter. He soon finds one that looks a tad familiar.
You can, yes, no problem at all.
Is that him? Don't know. It's a likeness, but...
Realizing what they're up to, the man behind the bar makes himself scarce. And before long, Rob finds another, more revealing photo.
Well, that's Colin.
It shows a distinctive tattoo on Mr. Salter's upper arm.
Has he got a tattoo on his right arm? Yes, that's him.
The man here is the debtor after all.
That's him.
Yeah? Colin, you're right. On Facebook, it's got pictures of you. All right. So, should we start again?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Right.
Caught red-handed, Mr. Salter will now have to deal with his debt.
We got 12 grand outstanding to whatever that company is. What are we doing about it?
Nothing at the minute.
Mr. Salter says he can't pay, so Rob turns his attention to the assets.
Stock-wise, how much have you got on the property?
This isn't mine, please.
It's all going today until the actual owner proves who owns the goods.
Your car at the front as well, isn't it?
No, it's Mr. J's.
That's not you no more.
No.
Okay. Mr. J owns all the stuff in here, does he? Okay. Do you want to get him on the phone, see if he can come down? He's going to need to bring all the proof down.
It's not just the contents of the pub that Mr. J must prove are owned by him.
Did you drive down it, or did he?
Yeah, I'm the main driver on his car.
You're the named driver on his car.
Yeah.
What we're going to do at the moment, we are going to seize the vehicle as well.
While Mr. Salter attempts to get hold of Mr. J, Rob heads outside to clamp the car. He's not convinced by Mr. Salter's ever-changing story.
He's claiming now that Debbie J is the owner of the property and the owner of all the goods. He merely works here. However, the invoices on credit invoices are addressed to a Colin. From what we've been told so far, I'm inclined not to believe him.
Later, the sheriff's search for assets.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And hit the jackpot in the most unlikely of places.
Oh, evidently cooking the cash.
Anyone can use the county courts to recover money they're owed. Nearly 2 million claims are made every year in England and Wales, involving everything from poor work or faulty goods to unpaid invoices. Claims can be filed by post or online for a small fee. Both parties in the case will be asked to submit evidence, and you may have to attend a court hearing. If you win your case, a county court judgment or CCJ will be issued against the debtor. If they still don't pay, it's time to call the sheriffs. Agents Tommy Coyle and AD Long are in Wales, where they've skillfully negotiated their way onto Geraint Pearce's farm. They're now on the hunt for assets which could be used to pay his £8,000 debt for smashing up an enforcement agent's van.
Does that bring a tear to your eye, the Welsh flag there's ID looking up?
But while the farm is littered with curiosities, they're mostly old or broken. Tommy is desperately trying to find anything of value.
Whose is that?
Well, that there.
Very old.
My daddy bought it.
I don't even know what that'd be worth, to be honest. Land Rover. Is that running?
Belongs to my brother, yeah.
I don't think that's run for some time, has it?
There's an aircraft hangar.
What we got in here, Space?
Can I look through the window around the side there?
Can we not go through that front bit?
I haven't got a key fit.
Oh, is it locked up?
But even that seems to be full of junk.
I'm struggling to get things down on this list at the minute, Mr. Pierce.
A van outside the house is the most promising asset so far. But even that's not worth much.
As you can see, there's a lot of items here, and it's all scrap. So at the minute I'm struggling, so there's not many assets here. So what we did, obviously communicating with him, creating that dialogue and getting onto here, was a job well done, because that was a feat in itself, as you can see from how hard it was to deal with him. But even if we went to enforce here, I can't see what you could remove.
Mr. Pierce, though, has some suggestions of his own.
That tar machine down that field is worth £4 grand.
Let's go and have a look at that, and I'll put that down.
But although the countryside walk is welcome, the trip to the end of Mr. Pierce's fields doesn't yield much, besides some more curiosities.
Well, I'll put it down. I'm unsure of the value, but we'll put it down. The bus looks like it's had better days, isn't it? You could do the school runs with that round here. £1,000, you reckon? Yeah. We're done for now. We'll go back so I can get you to go through the paperwork with you.
It looks like the only valuable things on the farm are the sheep. And while livestock can be removed, it's a costly process which would also deprive Mr. Pierce of his livelihood. Happy they've seen enough, they head into his caravan to attempt to strike a deal.
Let's talk and get this sorted then. What about 4,000 today, and then we'll put you on an arrangement for the rest?
4,000.
That's something we can facilitate. You'd get the 4,000 paid today. We'd set you up on that arrangement.
I can't pay £4,000 today.
You can't.
No, I can't. The total amount of money I got to my name is this.
Oh, it's not close, is it?
No. But do you know what? You've come at the worst time of the year.
How much is that?
Mr. Long can have a look at that.
£715.
£715.
Yeah.
We hold on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you hold on to that. We need more. And can you try and get £2,000 together?
This is all the money I've got. This would clear me out. I would have to go and take sheep to market. I mean, if you come
If
you can come back, and I can come back and say a month's time, then I could probably do that. Probably do 2-3 grand.
The only thing we could facilitate today would possibly be the £700 cash. We're then going to give you an arrangement saying you need to get £2,000 by the end of the month, end of February. Okay? So you need to pay that. And then we'll go forward with your monthly instalments.
At £200 a month.
At £200 a month.
Mr. Pierce accepts the deal and hands over his cash.
So we'll give you a receipt for the cash. We're getting there.
You must be the nicest bailiff I've met there. Nice bailiff.
Well, we try to resolve the matter.
It's not the £8,000 they were hoping for, but under the circumstances, Tommy's happy.
I hope it all works out, and
Thank you very much.
yeah, we don't meet again. No disrespect.
No disrespect.
You take care, yeah?
Take care.
The first offer was £100. Obviously, that's far too low. After a bit of a conversation with him, we got into an arrangement of £700 cash. He's going to pay £2,000 at the end of the month, followed by an offer of £200 per month. But at this stage, I think that's a great result from what we started off with, being locked out of the property. The assets that were here were worth next to nothing and scrap. But we got a decent amount of money today, and I think in this circumstance, a very good arrangement for the client.
As for Mr. Pierce, he remains philosophical and unrepentant.
I'm not really happy because I've got to part with money that I haven't really got. And I've got to sell a few sheep, but I'll never regret ramming that bailiff. It was the most satisfying thing I've ever done. I'm just glad that we have resolved the situation to somewhat, and that's it. I'm happy that the bailiffs actually weren't too bad. And he's got a good ginger beard, the one.
and the other one's got a good, strong Welsh accent. So, happy days.
So far, Mr. Pierce has stuck to his arrangement and made further payments to help clear his debt. It's midday, and High Court enforcement agents Claire Scotland and Billy Evans are in South London, on their way to visit a car mechanic.
We're actually in Croydon today. We're going to see an individual at his company address. We are looking for an Italian man, approximately about 5'9". He is driving a 55 plate BMW X5. So that's what we're looking for, and we're looking to retrieve about £3,500.
The money is owed to Mabusha Ghaffar, a self-confessed vanaholic. He's got two vans, one that he's converting into a mobile office and another he uses for transport.
My dad is disabled and I use the van mostly for it. Plus I have a big family. My brother lives with me as well. So a normal 7-seater is not enough.
It was this van that was the cause of his troubles when it developed a problem with the suspension. Mabusha wanted to get it checked out as soon as possible and was recommended a new garage called Ital Motors, run by Artur Cafaro.
I saw this new business, so I used to speak to the gentleman that how is it going. He was very friendly. He's an expert. He always used to talk about his experience when he was working with the big manufacturer in Italy. So he's very good on repairing the vans. And he said that he knows what is the problem.
Mr. Cafaro gave Mabusha a quote, which seemed a little pricey.
He said that he's going to charge me £2,400. And he said that he's expensive because he does a brilliant job and he's not an ordinary mechanic. That is why I took the risk and paid him upfront.
It was a lot of money, but worth it to get his precious wheels back on the road. A couple of days later, he did get his van back, but he wouldn't be going far.
The next day, when I drove it for about 10 miles, and I saw that the problems are still there. And even more problems. I don't know what he fixed or touched, or maybe he have actually touched the wrong area on the van and created more problems. So I was very surprised and upset.
Mabusha returned his van to Mr. Cafaro, but was shocked when the mechanic requested even more money.
He said that I've done what I've done, so you need to pay me another £1,000 to get it fixed. I said, why I have to pay almost £3,500? You can replace the whole suspension for that much money.
Ital Motors did reluctantly take the van back and returned it the next day.
Straight away, I found that there are more problems with it. Steering problems as well afterwards. I was so upset and angry, so I decided to write a letter to him, pointing out that nothing was fixed. So please return me the money or fix the van.
Mr. Cafaro refused to do either. By now, Mabusha was desperate to get the family van back on the road, so he took it to another garage.
It just took 2 days to repair it. It was a simple job, and they only charged me £750 as compared to £2,400 which I paid.
Now Mabusha wanted his money back.
Finally, I decided to take it to the small claims court. He did not respond to the court letters, and at the end, court actually decided in my favor.
Despite the default judgment, Mabusha still didn't get his money. So he escalated the case to the High Court, where a writ was issued against Mr. Cafaro. The sheriff's and Mabusha's last hope of seeing the money he's owed. In Croydon, Billy and Claire are approaching the business.
There it is, Icefield Motor Repairs with the nice Italian flag outside. But I cannot see the BMW X5 at the moment. Could have that Maserati for all we know.
Nice. Well, that'll cover it.
More than cover it.
Slightly.
Straight in.
The sheriffs head inside to find Mr. Cafaro.
Hello. Hello there. High Court Enforcement. Can we speak to an Arthur? Arthur?
Yeah, I am.
Is that yourself? We're here regarding a High Court writ for some outstanding money that needs paying.
Talk with me.
Sorry? Do you want me to speak to this chap?
Yeah, it's my language.
Okay, so what it is, we've got a High Court writ to attend here to remove assets for an unpaid debt.
Which debts?
So we've got the claimant of Mubusha Ghaffar. The debt is £3,642.64p. If you can pay that now, then that'll be it all finished. If not, we have to look at further enforcing, which will incur further costs.
We can't pay now. We can't pay just now. You have to take the money in a couple of days, something.
It won't be a couple of days, it needs to be
but
paid
I got the
now.
money now.
He'll need to look for it.
The debtor's father-in-law tells Billy they don't have enough time to get the money together. But for the sheriffs, time is up.
I can give you like half an hour or something like that.
More.
It's not going to be more. If you're telling me, if you're going to get the money, then I'm happy to wait, but it's not going to be all day. That's what I'm trying to say.
But no, half an hour, no, but so.
If he doesn't pay it now, it's going to go up to about £5,000.
When he realises the sheriffs have the power to remove assets to pay off the debt, Mr. Cafaro's father-in-law can't quite believe how much hot water the mechanic has got himself into.
He could defend himself soon.
Yeah, but it's too quickly here. He brings me to court to me.
You should do something. Defend yourself.
For what I defend, I don't speak really good English. I'm gypsy, the same with gypsy when I talk. I'm so tired, my friend, believe me, I'm so tired.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine it's a tiring process, yeah.
I start 8 in the morning, I finish 3 o'clock in the night, 4 o'clock in the morning. I start again in the morning.
Yeah.
For what? I can't believe.
Mr. Cafaro is taking the news badly.
I'm working in this garage for 18 hours in the day.
Yeah.
And today I need to pay him for my money. This is not right.
Later, Mr. Cafaro gets even angrier.
Io lavoro per che cosa? Io lavoro per che cosa?
But will he come up with the money he owes Mabusha for his van? When debtors can't pay on the spot,
You need to get this paid today.
Are you going to pay the bill?
the sheriffs won't always remove assets. Goods go for about a fifth of their true value at auction, and it's often better to agree to a payment plan.
550 due the 10th every month.
They'll make a list of assets
That's a nice man,
Bandsaw,
Yeah.
Sahara.
and a controlled goods agreement is signed, making it an offence for anyone else to remove them.
You sign it, I sign it.
The sheriffs will only return to take the items if the debtor fails to make payments.
Set them up on a fairly hefty arrangement, so it's definitely the best result.
Rob and Gerald are at the Swan Inn in Bridgend in South Wales. They're here to collect just over £12,000 the landlord Mr. Salter owes after failing to pay his beer supplier. Mr. Salter says he's got no money and the contents of the pub belong to someone else. But the sheriffs don't believe him and are on the hunt for assets, starting with the cellar.
Don't get lost.
I get scared of the dark.
I'll wait till he's down and I'll close the hatch.
I'm too old to be climbing down cellars.
The sheriffs are hoping for a decent stock of alcohol, which can command a high resale price.
That's just mixers. No spirits there. Kegs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's not a great haul.
1, 2, 3 crates of beer. Maybe, a very big maybe, maximum grand's worth of stock down here.
With a 12 grand debt, it's not even close. But the threat of removing stock, nevertheless, has the desired effect. Mr. Salter is finally now talking to Rob about paying something.
Do you think they would set up a plan and pay this money back as well?
There's a possibility, but we're talking a lump sum up front. And we're certainly not talking £100 a week.
I got my mum on the phone now, she got £3,000 like that. If I do 6,000.
Right, so 6 is absolute max.
6 I got on.
Mr. Salter's offering to pay half his debt today and monthly payments of £500 to clear the rest. But there's a catch. The cash is miles away.
Where are we talking?
We're on there.
We're on there, so it's 40 minutes to get down here.
Yeah.
I can put it to them, but if they accept it, it's on the basis that the cash is with us before we leave.
Rob thinks it's a decent offer.
There isn't £6,000 worth of assets here, so a £6,000 payment up front is good. We'd do a controlled goods agreement on the remainder. And on the back of that, we may end up seeing this debt settled at the rate he's offering of £500 a month. Pretty sharpish.
Gerald calls the beer supplier, Clayton Jones, to see if he agrees.
Hello. Basically, I've got two options at the moment. One, I can accept a proposal, or two, I can clear the place out. The proposal he's offering me now is £6,000 now, and then £500 a month. You're happy to accept that? There we go. I will enter into a control goods agreement and do it now. No problem at all.
The deal's on, but there's a snag. Mr. Salter says he has to go to get the cash himself in the car that's currently clamped outside. The sheriffs decide that under the circumstances, letting him go is the best option.
I'll unclamp the car. It is formally seized, but we'll let you carry on with it for now. As long as you bear in mind, if you don't turn up or don't come back or whatnot, obviously we've still got the keys to the place, we'll remove and we will go for the car still, all right?
You start making your way up there and we'll get all the paperwork done ready for you.
The car's unclamped and Mr. Salter heads off, leaving the sheriffs alone in his pub.
With a bit of luck, he should be back by the latest, 4:45.
Okay.
CGA, should we start?
Yeah, may as well.
May as well.
As Mr. Salter's cash is only going to cover half the debt, the sheriffs now need to list all the assets here as security against the rest, starting with the bar area.
Come on, you read things out to me when I'm looking. What's the name of these two TVs?
One's a blank put.
What's the other make of the other one, Rob?
Polaroid. Yep. One CCTV system.
£1,500 assorted stock.
Yeah.
And then there's the kitchen.
The floor reminds me of a nightclub I used to go to. We nicknamed it Stickies. We've got a Russell Hobbs microwave.
What are they, stainless steel?
Just black. Bain-Maries, the little soup holders. Oh, evidently cooking the cash.
Why?
And cooking a bit more cash.
Hey?
There's a little bain-marie, like a little soup warmer or pea warmer or whatever they're called. And it's got cash in. A little baggie of cash in that one. Probably about 50, 100 quid. Another one here with, again, 50. It's in the back one. It's in the back one. The big reveal. Oh, this is post-pox. It's just all his invoices and stuff.
It's an unusual filing system, but its discovery has little bearing on the bigger picture.
I think that's just little cash bits to pay the rubbish men and stuff like that, I think. 100 quid in there. If he's coming up with £6,000, it's neither here nor there.
Soon they run out of things to list. And in an empty bar surrounded by bottles of alcohol, Gerald makes a surprising revelation.
My tipple, 100%, which I've now gone absolutely scatty on, is pink gin. Pink gin and lemonade. Lovely. I even talked Rob into it. Didn't I, Rob?
Yeah, I've started on the pink gin now as well. It's very nice.
And Gerald and Rob may well have something to raise a glass to this evening, as the debtor is back with the cash.
Hello.
Right.
I'll get my boy to count that.
This is 6, yeah? Okay.
Right. £6,000.
The money is all there, so Mr. Salter only needs to sign the controlled goods agreement.
Sign by there, and then print your name by the side of it. Sorted.
Rob and Gerald's work is done.
Cheers, Mr. Salter. Thanks now.
And it's all thanks to social media.
It shows the benefit of that little bit of investigation, that little bit of time spent. It paid off on this occasion. He was almost genuine enough, and some of the documentation he showed was almost genuine enough to make what I feel a few people walk away on this particular job.
That is why I work with a youngster like Rob, knows how to do all these checks on these WhatsAppies and Facebookies and all this. He can find a man. Spot on, mate.
Yeah, on that note, go on, Grandad, let's go.
That's twice I've praised you today.
It's another successful enforcement and a huge relief for the claimant.
Once the sheriffs contacted me and said that they'd been successful in contacting Colin and he'd made an arrangement to pay the debt, I was very pleased. I think they did a great job.
Mr. Salter has so far stuck to his arrangement and is repaying his debt. It's 6:30 in the morning. Tommy Coyle and Mike Perkins are on their first job of the day in rural Worcestershire.
I'm on the way to a residential address. It's an address I've been to previously. I've noted down a vehicle. A vehicle has come back clear of finance, and there's been no response to the letters that we've left. So we are coming back today to enforce the writ fully. We're after about 10,000 roughly, and if it's not forthcoming, we're going to look to remove this vehicle.
The claimant is Sandra Sheldon, who lent money to her friend Carol Jones and husband Andrew.
My relationship to Carol was that I've known her many years, since we were teenagers. I used to go and do the whole family's hair, then didn't sort of see her for quite a while, and then saw her when I was doing hair where she worked. Then we got chatting, went out for a drink together, you know, and got quite friendly.
It was during one of their chats that Sandra's friend told her that her husband was struggling for money.
I suggested that if Andrew was in financial trouble with his tax payment, I said, I've got 7,000 if you'd like to borrow it.
Sandra lent Carol and Andrew the money. It was a lot for her, but worth it to help an old friend.
They said that I would get the money back as and when he got paid by his previous boss or when he got a tax rebate.
But 6 months later, Sandra still hadn't been repaid the money.
She convinced me on the phone, you'll get it back, it won't be long, it'll be soon. And I said, look, I want the money back, I want to put new windows in my house, I want to do some home improvements, I want to go on holiday, I haven't got any money, you know, I need that back. And it's, yeah, soon, you know, and then after you hear that for like 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, I can't remember how long it was, that you think this isn't going to happen. Then they started ignoring phone calls, ignoring text messages.
By now desperate, Sandra decided some money would be better than none.
I asked them to pay me in instalments, they wouldn't do that.
Carol and Andrew had recently put their house up for sale. And when they finally came back to Sandra, the payment terms they offered were not what she was expecting.
They turned it to as and when the house sells.
Not willing to let the situation continue any longer, Sandra then demanded that the Joneses pay her back. But that only made matters worse.
He turned quite nasty. Then so did Carol. Stopped pestering us, stopped texting us, stopped phoning us. And then I realised that these people didn't want to pay the money back.
Carol didn't have a formal loan agreement with her friends. But fortunately, she did have some proof, as she had given the money by bank transfer and a text message trail confirmed the loan had been made.
Thank goodness I had enough evidence to take it to court and take it further.
Sandra filed a money claim, and when the Joneses didn't fight the case, a default judgment was made against them, ordering to return the money. When they didn't, Sandra called the sheriffs. Now, with costs and fees, the debtors are facing a hefty bill. Back in the van, Tommy and Mike are nearing the Joneses' address, and claimant Sandra's predicament is weighing on Tommy's mind.
I've actually spoke to the claimant. She's quite distressed, and I don't blame her. And we're sort of her last port of call this morning. So I'm going to be doing everything I can to get her monies back.
As they pull up to the property, Tommy and Mike spot the Mini convertible that they know is owned by the debtor.
Mate, there's a massive gap that can drive straight out.
Is there?
Yeah.
They use the van to block the driveway and prevent any cars being driven away.
It ain't getting out there, mate.
Right.
Oh.
Oh, it's a bit chilly.
A figure soon appears at the upstairs window.
Good morning, Tom.
And Tommy recognises her from his last visit.
It's the enforcement agent again. Is Mr. and Mrs. Jones here? They're not. Can you get them on the phone?
I can't, so I haven't got the phone, sorry.
No way of getting hold of them. The issue is we're literally here today. We're going to be removing a vehicle.
I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Okay, no problem. Do you want to get the clamp out?
Yeah.
But just as Mike prepares to clamp the Mini, a man answers the front door.
Is it Mr. Jones?
It's the debtor, who is home after all.
You're right, sir. Enforcement agent identification.
Right, okay.
We're here with a court order to enforce today. We've already left you a couple of letters. It's to do with Miss Sandra Sheldon.
Right.
Yeah, something to do with some
Well,
money.
what's been dealing with that? Give us 5 minutes.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Do you want to get changed? Yeah. All right.
While Mr. Jones goes inside, Mike gets to work. From previous visits, Tommy knows this Mini is free from finance, making it the perfect seizable asset. As soon as the clamp is on, both of the debtors emerge to find out what's going on.
It's a live High Court writ. We need payment, or we're here to seize assets today. That's our job.
Carol Jones seems eager to give her version of events.
Sandra and myself had an agreement.
What agreement was that? Because obviously she's quite distressed. Obviously she hasn't got the money.
She offered us some cash at the time to help us out through a difficult period. And I said, when the house sells, Sandra, then we will obviously give you your money back.
No.
Since then, she's obviously had a change of heart. Would I be able to make an arrangement to pay?
It is full payment today, or they do want us to take assets, hence the reason we're here today.
We haven't got the full payment, have we?
Well, then we'll be looking at removing assets then from the property.
Good luck with that.
What do you mean by that?
I ain't got assets,
There's no-
£7,000.
We can still remove goods.
There's vehicles and assets in the property as well. Anyone you can speak to, you could possibly help you out.
I don't know anybody that could cost you.
Can't believe it, you know, bully boy
It's not bully boy tactics. We're commanded to take control of goods to sell at public auction. Okay, the only way to stop us executing the High Court writ and removing goods to sell at public auction is by paying in full.
Faced with the prospect of their Mini being towed away, the debtors know they need to raise the money fast. So they ask Tommy for extra time.
What sort of time are you thinking? A couple of hours to get it resolved?
All right.
We'll pull it on hold for the 2 hours. Hopefully something can be resolved.
The clock is now ticking for the Joneses. Later, will they be able to come up with the £10,000, or will their Mini be removed? In Croydon, Billy and Claire are at a garage belonging to Arta Cafaro. He owes more than £3,500 after refusing to refund a customer for a failed van repair. But since the sheriffs arrived, Mr. Cafaro's gone from 0 to 60.
I'm working in this garage for 18 hours in the day.
And stormed off,
This is not right.
leaving Billy with his father-in-law.
He seems a genuine, hard-working guy, but like you said, he should have gone to court to defend himself, because it may have been a different outcome.
That's why you leave everything, you leave nothing.
If you leave it, it comes to this.
I'm 50 years old.
The director soon returns, but emotions are still running high.
Ciao. Senti qua, dov'è la fattura? Dov'è la fattura di questo di di fronte, è quello lì che avevamo fatto. Ho preso spacco tutto, ma è giusto. Io lavoro per che cosa? Io lavoro per che cosa?
E come fa? Ma finisce, dopo porta la cosa, se non è inutile che piangi.
O piango, spacco tutto.
Perché la solda tanto no?
Se li puoi prendere, prendi così li diamo. Se ne vanno.
Tu vai subito all'avvocato, vai subito all'avvocato.
Ma quale avvocato? L'avvocato è what you need to me. Cosa vuoi che ti aiuto io? Non vedi che cazzo di avvocato c'ho? Che avvocato? Papà, per favore, lasciami, no stomaco.
He's obviously very passionate about his business, but as you can appreciate, he's disputing it. He's not happy and very emotional.
They can do a bank transfer if they're going to the bank.
He got money in the bank.
Sorry?
He bring me cash.
He's bringing you cash.
He bring me cash.
It seems Mr. Cafaro has managed to raise the money after all. While they wait, Billy and Claire do everything they can to try to keep the peace.
We can see how professional the company is.
You've got everything really nice in here as well. Like it's a very clean looking garage.
The small talk is soon over when the cash arrives.
You've got it, have you? Okay.
Yeah, I have cash.
So 3,000 here and the rest.
Right, 3,000 here, yeah? $3,642.
600, 3,600.
3,642, yeah. Is that right?
Yep.
It's all there. Almost.
And then do you have the £2.64p? Then that's the cash receipt. Okay, that's our job done now. So that is the file settled.
Aspettano picca. Lascia per favore, ti prego, lascia per, non chiedi più niente, non fa più niente. E basta questo. Vai.
All right.
Have a good day.
Cheers. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
2 hours after they arrived, the slightly relieved sheriffs are leaving with payment in full.
It could have got a lot worse, I think.
Of course. I had my guard up because you just you don't know what.
Yeah.
You know, his emotions were running that high, you know, and he was going from one extreme to another, crying and then, you know, anger. So yeah, I didn't think it would be like that, to be honest.
The successful enforcement is great news for Mabusha, who plans to put the money he's finally received for the botched van repair to good use.
When I heard about that they have fully recovered the money plus their expenses, I was really happy. When you get your money back, then obviously it's a relief. The perfect use of this money will be that I will spend it on the van again and put some more gadgets in.
Tommy and Mike are in the Worcestershire countryside, looking for more than £10,000 owed by Andrew and Carol Jones. They were lent money by their friend Sandra, but never paid it back. The sheriffs have given them 2 hours before their Mini will be removed. In the meantime, they're killing time in the van.
God, my beard is so bushy. They naturally look at the one with the bigger beard as their leader.
I don't need no beard to try and convince myself that I am a leader.
See, that's where you're going wrong. You're lacking in the beard front.
As the sun rises, it turns into a beautiful morning in the countryside. And the Joneses' time is nearly up.
Well, they appear to be coming over to the van as we speak.
But they've come empty-handed.
I can show you I have been trying.
It's just weird.
I know, look. This is my son, he's in the Falklands. So I know he will be able to settle it.
All it's standing is till 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I want to resolve this.
Right.
We found 5 that we could be lent, and if we could get just time to get my son to put the rest.
I'll speak to the officer, say, look, can we get an hour? See what's the maximum they push it to. Just say, look, you are trying to resolve it.
Yeah,
try and get a bit more time.
It's borrowing money that got the debtors into this mess. Now they're saying they can borrow £5,000 towards getting them out of it. But the rest, over £5,500, will have to come from their son, who they can't get hold of. Just as their extra hour draws to a close, suddenly Mr. Jones appears holding a bundle of cash.
Where are we at?
And he shows Tommy his phone to prove that a further payment has been made online.
So you've done 627,289. Right, I'll ring and check the office, that'll be straight in, won't it? How much we got cash then? Go.
Mr. Jones hands over £4,300.
You count.
Mike tots it up, and Tommy calls the office to confirm the electronic payment.
Could you check the accounts for me, please? All right, thank you.
Meanwhile, Carol Jones gives her explanation of why the debt wasn't settled sooner.
We had a tax bill that we couldn't meet, and Sandra was having a coffee at the time. She said, I have this spare cash. And I said, but Sandra, I don't know when I'll be able to pay it back. And she said, well, don't worry about it. It's money I'm not needing at the moment anyway. I said, we planned to put the house up for sale, and it was agreed that when that happened or I came into any money elsewhere, the money would be repaid. Since then, for whatever reason, Sandra has decided I'm not intending to pay it back. And then it snowballed. But it was never my intention not to pay her.
With confirmation of the bank transfer, it's payment in full, and Tommy calls Sandra to give her the good news.
Hello?
Hello, Miss Sheldon. We've got all your money, payment in full.
Brilliant, thank you very much. How much was it in the end?
In the end, it's cost them £10,572.89p.
God. And the original bill was £7,000.
It was 7,476. So it's unfortunate, but it's not your fault. They've made it this way.
All right then.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you take care.
Okay.
I was very doubtful for getting my money back, but thank goodness I can now use the money to put new windows in the house, have the garden done, and I've got a bit of cash in the bank, so I haven't got to worry about things going wrong.
Over on BBC Two now, A New World Order tells the remarkable story of controversial Chinese President Xi Jinping. But next here on BBC One, could a picture bought for a hefty sum finally turn out to be worth every penny? Fake or Fortune is on the case. Next.
tiền để nó cho này chia lo giờ bỏ niềm cho bỏ thiểu mù mù lo lo để ta ra chỉ sau lúc chiều nhỏ khó tư bỏ niềm lúc chia để yêu nụ chỉ bỏ niềm thao tư mà gió